Oricorio is the most banned Pokemon in history. This is not a joke, this is not a falsehood. Oricorio and its various forms have been banned 24 different times in Generation 9. 24 times. I bet you're wondering why on earth this has happened. What is so ban-worthy about Oricorio? It is just a little bird, and it's a wonderful and innocuous little bird, isn't it? I am very fond of Oricorio and its different type of forms. I think it's a flavorful and inspired Pokemon design. And this is a low-tier Pokemon. It has terrible stats, it's nothing crazy. But Oricorio in Gen 9 keeps becoming broken in lower tiers. Often by this point, Pokemon have settled into whatever tier properly represents their power level, but Oricorio has been all over the place in Gen 9, with all 4 of its different forms repeatedly being banned and unbanned and banned and reevaluated as DLC comes out, metagames keep shifting, and Oricorio just keeps causing a ruckus, it keeps causing trouble. Let's take a look at Oricorio's insane journey in Gen 9 so far and why it keeps getting put into prison. But first I have very important news. Universally beloved Pokemon Magcargo was last seen on the receiving end of a devastating blow from Iron Mugulus, blasting him off into the stratosphere. Many thought Magcargo to be gone for good after this, but he was recently discovered all the way over in the ruins of Mugulanium, recovering from his wounds. Magcargo has since been sighted speaking with a mysterious shrouded figure, perhaps engaging in some sort of underhanded deal. Subscribe to the channel very quickly, so that we may learn more of this developing situation. Thank you. Oricorio getting banned this many times and causing such issues in lower tiers might come as a surprise to you if you played the Gen 7 games, because back then, this Pokemon wasn't really doing anything of note. It was ranked in ZU, which is the lowest possible tier you can be ranked in, and none of the Oricorio forms were particularly excellent. The Pokemon's terrible stats and underwhelming tools were just not a recipe for competitive success. Oricorio has the ability Dancer, which copies the enemy's move and uses it for yourself if it happens to be a dancing move, like Dragon Dance or Quiver Dance. A very fun ability, but not one with much practical application in competitive singles. It might come up sometimes that an enemy dances, and you dance in turn, but not often. But Oricorio has always had a very interesting mechanic up its sleeve, unique to it. The move Revelation Dance. Revelation Dance is a pretty fun move. By default, it's a normal type attack, a 90 power special attack. But the type will change based on your Pokemon's primary type. This means that if Oricorio Pom-Pom, the electric type Oricorio form, uses this move, it's an electric move. If Oricorio Sensu uses this move, it's a ghost move. It changes based on your type. There isn't much practical application for this unique effect. In essence, it's basically just a way to give these guys a uniform stab option that changes type depending on the form. But what's interesting is that if, for whatever reason, these Oricorios change their type, Revelation Dance will change type as well. If Oricorio is hit with Soak, for example, a move that turns you into a water type, Revelation Dance will become a water move. So when Gen 9 came around, this Revelation Dance move became quite a significant bit better, and I'm sure a lot of you have put 2 and 2 together here as to why this is the case. If you think about it, Revelation Dance is basically a directly superior version of Terra Blast. Terra Blast is a new move introduced in Gen 9 to coincide with the terastallization mechanic. In Gen 9, any Pokemon during a game can terastallize into a new type, and Terra Blast, in turn, will change to match the Terra type that you just transformed into. If a Pokemon has not terastallized, though, Terra Blast is just a normal type special attack, which is pretty unexciting. But Oricorio here can use Revelation Dance, which not only acts as a stab move most of the time, but when you terastallize, Revelation Dance will change type as well, giving you access to a new form of coverage at any point. This is very good and very flexible, and a lot of Pokemon wish they had this flexibility. Because Terra Blast, while it can be great, is a waste of a move slot if you don't terastallize. Not only is Revelation Dance much better in Gen 9 because of how it works with terrestrialization, they also just directly buffed Oricorio by giving it the new move Quiver Dance, one of the most powerful boosts in Pokemon history. Quiver Dance is an incredible boosting move that raises your special attack, special defense, and speed by 1 stage. Very few Pokemon in the game get this, and getting this at the same time as terrestrialization coming out, which also buffs you, turned Oricorio into a much more powerful boost sweeper in lower tiers than it ever was before. The first Oricorio form to really rise to the forefront was Oricorio Pom-Pom, the electric flying type form, often the best of the bunch, with the best typing and the best Revelation Dance type to take advantage of. Some nice Terra types on this included Fighting or Water to not only shield yourself from incoming hits, but gain new stab and coverage on Revelation Dance in a pinch. Oricorio Pom-Pom has had quite a history in Gen 9 lower tiers. All the way back in February 23rd, 2023, Oricorio Pom-Pom was quick banned from Gen 9 never used, because of how powerful and effective this Quiver Dance set was at sweeping games and abusing Terra to evade its checks. Later, in the Gen 9 RU metagame on May 14th, 2023, Oricorio Pom-Pom was banned from Gen 9 RU, a much higher tier. Keep in mind, just back in Gen 7, the previous game, this was a ZU Pokemon who was worth nothing. Now it's getting banned from RU. This is quite a significant step up. When the metagame reset in the DLC, Oricorio Pom-Pom fell back down all the way to NU, only to get quick banned again from NU on December 11th, 2023. When the second DLC released, another metagame reset happened because new stuff comes out. They undo a bunch of bans usually when this happens, or things resettle. And guess what? On February 12th, 2024, Oricorio Pom-Pom got banned from NU again. All of these so far have been quick bans, and then as recently as May 18th, 2025, Oricorio Pom-Pom got banned again from Gen 9 RU after a suspect test. That was only this month. If you're confused about all that, I think what was happening here is that because of each metagame reset with DLC and home and all these metagame shifts that reset everything, Oricorio Pom-Pom probably fell down by usage back to NU every time, because there were other things terrorizing the format that were more popular. But as the dust settled each time, and the clearly broken things got banned residing where they belong in the higher tiers, Oricorio Pom-Pom was always there to rule over the rubble of these metagames after more powerful threats that took its spot left these high positions. And this pattern has just kept repeating over and over. Finally coming to a halt, I think, recently on May 18th with the most concrete ban of Oricorio Pom-Pom. This is definitely the most powerful of the Oricorios, residing in RUBL. Pretty respectable for a Pokemon with these stats. This goes to show just how much of an impact the addition of Quiver Dance and the Revelation Dance Terra synergy have had on this Pokemon. Now this is where the absurdity of this Oricorio scenario comes into the mix, because Oricorio's different forms are of course tiered separately. It's the same species of Pokemon, they're all Oricorio, they all have the same moveset, but they are different types, so each of them is evaluated separately. But funnily enough, every single time Oricorio Pom-Pom got banned, guess who replaced it? Oricorio Sensu, the next best Oricorio, comes right in to do exactly the same thing, with Quiver Dance and Revelation Dance and terrestrialization, sweeping teams and wreaking havoc in very much the same way. Even though Oricorio Pom-Pom is superior overall, Oricorio Sensu certainly has its benefits, with a spectacular ghost flying typing and a ghost type Revelation Dance that complements a Terra fighting Revelation Dance very well. So on March 6th, not too long after Oricorio Pom-Pom's first ban from NU, Oricorio Sensu also got quick banned from NU for pretty much the exact same reason. And what do you know, in a future DLC reset when Oricorio fell back down, they quick banned it from Gen 9 PU, where it ended up. I think they were starting to understand what was happening at this point, and on February 8th, 2024, they just banned both of these Oricorios at the same time. Oricorio, Sensu, and Pom-Pom were banned from PU on the exact same day of February 8th. And the most recent ban for Oricorio Sensu was as recently as January 30th, 2025, only a couple months ago, where it was quick banned from Gen 9 NU. So at the moment, Oricorio Sensu is ranked NUBL. I can't help but feel like, now that Oricorio Pom-Pom is illegal from RU, can't Oricorio Sensu just take its place and repeat this cycle infinitely? Will we see Oricorio Sensu get banned from RU, just like Pom-Pom did? Perhaps we can eagerly await that turn of events coming to pass. But as it stands in the current day, these top 2 Oricorio forms have been dealt with appropriately, I think. They've finally settled at around their power level with their newly buffed options. Sometimes these things take time to settle. Often not like this, with this many bans and tier shifts and rebans and whatnot, but change is a painful process sometimes. But what of the next 2 Oricorio forms? We still have the base form and the Pau form, Oricorio Pau. Is that how you say that? Now, the tiering history of Oricorio's base form is actually a puzzle that I cannot understand. I don't get what the hell's going on here. Because, according to the history books, Oricorio's base form was banned from PU in a quick vote by the council on March 5th, 2023. It was banned from PU. Then it was banned from NU in Pokemon Home. Then it was banned from PU again after dropping in the first DLC. Then it dropped to ZU somehow on March 23rd, got banned from ZU, and in the present day, it is ranked in ZU again. So I suppose they unbanned it since then. There wasn't a DLC since then or anything that reset the meta, so I don't know why it got banned from ZU and now it's back in ZU. I think it'll... Why not ban it and unban it 10 more times, just so he learns his lesson? Why don't we just, like... What, are we torturing this poor bird? What is happening here? But anyway, in the current day, the guy's ranked ZU, but this guy's also had a history of causing some metagame problems. It's not too bad typing-wise. Fire flying with boots ever since Gen 8 is pretty good. In the past, this was the worst of the Oricorios, back in Gen 7 when there were no boots, but now there's boots. Fire flying is actually a good defensive typing. And a fire type revelation dance is pretty excellent. Oricorio has much the same strengths as its fancy different forms. The base form is, in many respects, just as good. So even though Oricorio is presently ranked in ZU, where it is commonly used as a Quiver Dance sweeper, this guy is also good in higher tiers. It's good in PU and NU as well. It has success in all 3 of these tiers. And I'm sure that this Oricorio mayhem has been very confusing for the people who have to make sense of Smogon tiering, because you got these 4 birds, all very similar, all individually evaluated, and all slightly different. Some are ranked ZU, but too powerful in NU. You banned them from NU even though they were fine in ZU. It's usually by this point, Pokemon settle at the appropriate power level, but these damn Oricorios just can't figure out how good or bad they are. And I can't help but think, why can't this fire-type Oricorio just do all the same stuff that Pom-Pom was doing, but slightly worse, and be just as broken, and end up getting banned from RU as well in the future? I don't think it's over for the Oricorio base form. I think Oricorio base form has more bans in its future. Because I just look at this and I see a fundamentally strong Pokemon for multiple low tiers that maybe at the moment is not being evaluated properly. And in terms of defensive typing, I think this is one of the better of the Oricorios, serving as a mini Moltres in lower tiers. And finally we have Oricorio Pau, the least threatening looking of the Oricorios, and probably the actual least threatening, with a Psychic Flying typing. Probably the worst typing of the bunch here. Psychic Flying, not great defensively. You're unfortunately weak to Ghost and Dark, which are bad types to be weak to in this day and age. All the other Oricorios have good defensive traits, while this Oricorio is lagging behind a little bit, but as we've learned, even a bad Oricorio is still an Oricorio. And I'm saying Oricorio so often that it doesn't sound real anymore. I believe that because Oricorio base form is fire flying, it's kind of locked into running heavy duty boots, otherwise it will get destroyed by Stealth Rock. But Oricorio Pau is more inclined to run different items. It's only taking 25% from Stealth Rock. Still a lot, but if you're using it as a setup sweeper, you can go Key Berry, for example, Key Berry, which, when hit by a physical attack, grants you a defense boost, and if you have this Quiver Dance Roost set, this can go to the moon. This can be very good, especially when you are probably committing to Terra anyway with such a set. Interestingly, this one is not even running Revelation Dance, focusing more on the defensive benefit of terrestrializing. So yes, Oricorio, Pom-Pom, and Sensu are the clear top two, but among Oricorio Base Form and Oricorio Pau, there is a bit of a trade-off to be had in these lower tiers that they reside in, because if you're going to run boots anyway, and you are probably not as committed to terrestrializing your Oricorio, Base Form is probably better because Fire Flying is a better typing. But if you're running the Oricorio as more of an all-in win condition that you plan to terrestrialize with most games, Pau is better because it's not as threatened by Stealth Rock. And Oricorio Pau has had its fair share of bans this generation as well. It got quick banned on March 19th, 2023 from Gen 9 PU. You know, what's funny is that was not too long after Oricorio Base Form got quick banned from PU. There is a pattern here. You ban one of the Oricorios, another one takes its place, then the next best one takes its place, and then that gets banned as well. This is the chain of events that happened to Oricorio Pom-Pom, and then Base Form, and then Pau Form after that. Oricorio Pau got quick banned again from PU in the DLC reset on October 1st. And that's it actually for Oricorio Pau, the least morally bankrupt of the Oricorios, only getting banned twice, and today residing in ZU. Of all the Oricorios, I believe this to be the most honorable. This insane series of Oricorio bans perhaps showcase some flaws in the Smogon tiering system, or perhaps maybe this is just an insane outlier case where these four extremely similar alternate forms of different Pokemon are tiered separately, cause the same problems, often replace each other, get banned in sequence, and then do it all again every time the metagame resets in an absolutely absurd clown show of events. This has led to a lot of instability of lower tiers, to be honest. It is tumultuous to play lower tiers in Gen 9. I'm sure if you've been active in like the PU and NU and RU communities, you're getting sick of these damn birds getting banned, and then a new one comes, and then a new one comes, and it never ends. Whenever I say that something is for the birds, I think that these are the birds I'm talking about. These are the ones that are the harbingers of life and death itself. The 4 dancing birds that greet you when you cross over to the next life. 24 bans in Gen 9 is a record. It has never been seen before. And honestly, I hope they shoot for the moon here. Can we get to 30? Can we get to 50? Let's keep going. Let's keep banning birds just to see how far the rabbit hole goes. Thank you, by the way, to Reddit user ownlocation3815, who posted a fantastic write-up about all of the Oricorio bans that have taken place and a bit of analysis as to why this has happened. This was a great resource for this video, and I appreciate it. Who is your favorite of the Oricorios? I think mine would have to be Pau. I've grown fond of it over the course of this video. It has a fantastic vibe, but what about you folks? Let me know down below in the comments, and thank you for watching.